I am Ann-Peggy Divine. Welcome to the Divine Design, the podcast where we unfold heaven on earth and reframe spirituality and theology for a new cosmic era. Your journey on human evolution and integration of your divine design starts here. Now, before you jump into this episode, if this conversation resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share this with whoever you feel that needs to hear it. Together, your support helps us sustain this work, bringing transformational wisdom into the world and nurturing the awakening of our shared foundation, Mother Earth. Thank you very much. Welcome, Lauren Berkowitz, to this Divine Design podcast.
Thank you for having me, Ann-Peggy.
And we just met.
Yes, we did.
We met in a program, and this program is Mind Valley Academy to be better on social media, to understand social media and technology. And we spoke, what should we talk about? It is kind of being on social media as a candy. Some candies we can grab from social media from times to time. But first of all, I'm a little bit want to know more about you. So maybe you can say where you are from, your name, what you do, or what is your heart desire?
Sure. Thank you. And thank you for having me. And it's been really great to get to meet you and other people. And I'm excited to talk to you today. I'm Lauren Berkowitz. I live in New York City now. I have a 16-year-old dog and a 15-year-old daughter. I've been in technology pretty much my entire career. I have had a non-linear career or kind of like an ADD type career in that I'm a lawyer and I also have an MBA degree, and I went into digital media really early on in my career, much to my parents, you know, not being happy about that because I just graduated from law school and said, I really want to go into the internet, which they had no idea what it was. And so from there, ended up in companies like Sony and Universal running digital media, and then actually went into artificial intelligence. That's a story for another day. And then have been involved in kind of modernizing human resources and sort of human technology interfaces, got into my own spirituality and meditation practice over the past year, and really started looking at things like, wow, this kind of human infrastructure layer is really important and really missing, and looking at it from a personal and a business perspective,
Yeah.
and really also diving in simultaneously to my own practice. So it's a little bit about me. And then joined the Mind Valley practice because I needed to be good at social media because it's important. I always knew that. I've been looking at the analytics of it for some time, but personally have just, avoided it. And when I try to avoid something, then I have to conquer it. So I decided I needed to do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, and we met. Yeah.
Yes, me too.
And what we see actually behind all, we are sometimes I see that we are 300 and sometimes 500. So, but someone is taking the whole course and someone is taking half. But what I have noticed the couple of weeks we have done it is that a lot of us are into spirituality, that we are kind of in the hero's journey.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
we want to come out with a new way of thinking. How can we make system in another way, because we know that the old is kind of not function anymore.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think that it didn't surprise me that Mind Valley is not an American-based company. I've looked at a lot of enterprise, at work platforms for kind of, up-leveling human capabilities. And they're not as focused, at least in my experience, on spirituality and meditation. So that was one reason why I was really attracted to it. And I see that, um, that in the United States, at least for sure in New York City, that the interest in spirituality and meditation has kind of dramatically increased over the past year or two, definitely.
Yeah. And it looks like it is increasing all over the world.
Yeah.
Even though some is afraid of spirituality, but so it is also which what kind of words we use. What is spirituality? So maybe we should elaborate in what is spirituality. What is spirituality for you, Lauren?
Yeah, I think that that's an excellent point. And in my study, we talk about, I know that, my kind of mentor and teacher is very cognizant of that and talks about things like she'll kind of intermix divine and spirituality and God. I mean, she believes in God. I think I believe in God. I think it's just believing in something other than humans or other than a greater force as a guiding principle. Also wanting to be something with something and a part of something that is bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
I think what's great about this kind of modernization is that kind of when I talk to people about it, I'm like, look, even if you don't believe in that, the um, the kind of scientific and marked benefits that you get from doing the practices
Yeah.
is beneficial.
Yep.
So, I think there's been this realization that um, the isolation of humans coming out of COVID hasn't been a good thing. I think there's a lot of data that says being on lifetime pharmaceutical drugs, not a good thing. This mix of Eastern and Western practices at the same time that has been kind of accelerated by social media, both even starting maybe even in something as silly as like fashion. But I think that opened the doorway to the actual practices being incorporated into people's lives on both sides of kind of the East and West divide. So even if you don't believe in the spirituality part, you get these amazing benefits, as the baseline.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's also why I think so many are starting to talk about the hero's journey, because the hero's journey is very embodied. It is because you experience, and the hero's journey is actually very spiritual, even though someone think about it as not spiritual, but it is direct experience. It's kind of epiphany, and you know that the invisible becomes visible. So if I started kind of my spiritual journey in 2011, I went into the first course, and a lady spoke a lot about this spirituality, and I asked a lot of questions like, what is this? And this was 2 years before I started to experience deep thing in myself. So in 2013, then I started to experience, and really, even though I felt a lot of things, didn't have a vocabulary. I wasn't into that paradigm. But when the doctor said that I will die in 2013, and I prepared to die, and a lot of strange thing, kind of the invisible became more and more visible. I heard voices, I was guided, and I follow everything that happened to me. Then, and I didn't think about it as the hero journey. And it was the dark night of the soul, so I cried a lot because it was a lot of grief releasing. So when I was pushed, because I was pushed, I didn't say, yes, I want to do it. But when this started to happen, and the more that I kind of released stress, released emotional tension, the more I heard, the more I channeled, the more I experienced so many miracles. And I had healed a lot of my customer before it, but even though I healed, I didn't put it into a spiritual frame. So that is kind of, I don't know why I didn't do it, because people came to me, we want just healing, and I wanted to give them techniques, being a good therapist. So what I have experienced from spirituality is that when we say yes, it's kind of, okay, bring in what we don't see. The first is the hero's journey. And then we really feel it. We cannot, when we have radical change, and when we experience miracle, and miracles is actually for us. I can experience a miracle, and you can be next to me, and with your eyes and your perception, maybe you don't see it. But of course, a miracle can be the whole group, but miracles is kind of the way it's opening for us, and it's something inside us, so we have to be willing. So it's kind of the willingness
Mhm.
to open, radically open our heart.
Yeah. So I just want to clarify. So when you say hero's journey, do you mean the hero for each individual, how they come to their own kind of spirituality and whatever? Yeah. Okay. Just wanted to be sure. So, yes, I can talk about mine if that's where you want to go.
Yeah, because I see that all humans have their own hero's journey. So yeah, I want to hear about your hero's journey.
Funny. Not everyone's a hero, but yes.
But we are
But
all
yeah,
on our
but
unique hero. Yeah,
we all have the potential to be one, I'll say. So
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
talk about my own. So I kind of always felt that I had an intuition and almost like a warrior spirit. Just I try really hard things that maybe don't make sense for, and I just have this idea that I want to go and do that. So I've kind of always had that spirit and done things that didn't make sense at the time. I moved to like Germany because I wanted to move to London, and I got a job in Germany, not speaking German because I just decided I wanted to be in Europe. Or I decided that I wanted to go into artificial intelligence, even though I'm not, trained, but I could see where it was happening, and then I would, you know, um, manifest it or make it happen. But in terms of the spirituality, I would say kind of really started for me, not with like that desire, but with like it was a desire to feel better.
yeah,
So in 2018, I learned that I carried this gene called the BRCA gene, which is the breast cancer gene. Um, and I had no signal in my family because my family is very male dominant. Uh, Disease is kind of like a lock and a key. So you can have the predisposition, but unless the lock goes into the key, nothing ever happens. So I had no knowledge, but um, my father decided to find out his ancestry. And so decided to do, these tests, but they were trying to optimize the tests and they were testing the saliva to optimize the other part of their medical test, even though they weren't supposed to do that. So, but then they had a duty to tell him anyway. So I found out, and then it's quite a scary thing because you have no sickness in you. You're not sick, but you just get information that says you should do all of these radical things.
yeah,
It's just like having 8 organs removed and and having massive surgeries. So I did that, and the repercussions were like big just on the recovery side. So I mean, I recovered well. It's just when you have a series of surgeries, physically it does a lot. I think emotionally it does a lot because when you're sick, I think you're at least mentally prepared. But if you're completely well and then someone's like, oh, we're going to tell you that you're not well, then that just does also a mental, um, challenge that
yeah.
you also have to navigate at the same time because your reality is that you're fine, but you're not living like you're fine. So, because of having so much surgery and stuff, um, am just not as in good physical shape. So this past year in 2025, I had just an endoscopy because I have to get regular um, checkups. And I had a very bad reaction and ended up in the emergency room for like being allergic to the anesthesia, which I hadn't been prior, but um, and I talked to a friend of mine and I just said, I'm just not feeling well. It's like too much. And she sent me to an acupuncturist who also um, does a lot of practices. She has a center called the Om Center, and she ended up becoming kind of my kind of spiritual mentor and such. But when I went to her for acupuncture, number one, she got me right away, and I felt better immediately after like one session, which I'd done acupuncture before when I lived in London and for various things. So I already was kind of predisposed to believe that it was going to help. But then she said to me, she said, you should chant. It's going to make you feel better. And
Yeah.
I'm a musical person. My family's in the music business. And I am, I was in the music business myself early in my career. So the minute I chanted the first time, I felt better.
I love it.
It just clicked with me. And I didn't even really understand what it was. I just felt better. And so that was the beginning of and then the more I did other things. So then I did Reiki. And because, I like to learn deeply, I also myself became a sound healer, and I'm also studying to become a meditation teacher. Not necessarily because I don't think that's my journey. It might be. It's because I needed to understand it at a deeper level. Um, and I think that the goal of meditation, I think Vishen says this, right? Is like you don't want to necessarily become good at it. You want to have a better life.
Yeah.
And so that was the beginning of my journey. And as I went on, I became more spiritual because I started feeling and seeing things and being open to it.
Yeah.
Um, and then it becomes like anything else that feels good, but this is good for you, is that you want to do it more, you want to understand it more. So I was kind of predisposed to be open to it because I was raised religious and I felt intuitive and um, kind of believed in the big architecture of being a good person in the world. But that's how I ended up where I am.
Yeah. Well, I love what you just said, because you just described the typical hero's journey. Most of us, 95% of us, go into the hero's journey when we face a disease, when we kind of go through trauma or severe diseases. Like my daughter has been in the hero's journey now for 2 years, and it has been, the doctor said we don't know if she will live. And often we hear that from doctor, we don't know if you live. So, and it is pain and you don't understand, and the doctor said something, and I have said, but I don't understand why you had this. They just give you a lot of hormones, because they have given her a lot of hormones, and that has been a crazy road for her. But she's on her hero's journey, and I was guided. I have been on my hero's journey, and I'm not supposed to take away her hero's journey, because this is her owning her strength, owning her power. Like you own just chanting. When you said chanting, I said love it, because then you activate your essence, your light,
Yeah.
using your voice, even if it's just for yourself in the beginning.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I liked about it was like I wasn't even trying for anything. I just literally thought I was going for an acupuncture session to feel better, like for the week or for the
Yeah,
next couple days. And then it sent me on this way. But what I liked about the mantra chanting, like you said, is it creates energy within you. And so things starting to move.
yeah,
I think, and as beings, we're also predisposed to music. And so people can relate to it and they can do it. And it just starts to move things around and then, other things happen.
yeah, yeah. I do a lot of private ceremony. I go inward, and first of all, I close my eyes, and also sometimes I use the theta kind of activation, and also I use voice, because all of this, as you say, movement, it put us in another state. So we kind of travel, we download. So sound is so supportive when we are in this journey, because we activate all our kind of essence, the light essence. So with spelling and with yeah. So I love the way that you describe it, because this is, yeah, use our voice. A lot of people hold back. So many hold back their voice.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I hadn't before, but like studying about the like chakras and the throat chakra and how it's never been my issue. I'm more of like a root heart person. Maybe have those are my challenges, but not the throat chakra. But yeah, I'm actually even helping, my mentor design a mantra app, kind of go to make it more accessible and to use kind of, again, that's kind of my thing, is combining these ancient, really strong practices with modern technology. Because to your point, a lot of people don't want to do it. So they want someone to, they want to do it with someone or they want to hear the music in the background. And that's kind of my thing, is knowing how to engage with consumers, what's going to be sticky to them.
Yeah.
And so it's an exciting, part of this journey.
Yeah. Yeah, and when we mention it, because I also, when I started to do yoga in my kind of journey, because a lot of friends said, well, I cannot do journey because do yoga because it is every Tuesday and every Thursday. But I said, we can do yoga every day, because it's kind of in our mind that okay, we have to do a program with her or he, or but it's like
Yeah.
we can do it every day. So I started to do yoga 18 minutes every day, and it was restorative yoga because my body was so exhausted. I had been pushed into kind of, like the doctor said, you will die. So the only yoga that functioned for me is restorative yoga. But I worked with another therapist. We worked, both of us, and when I started to do yoga, I didn't tell her, but when we met 1 week after I had started to do this restorative yoga, she said, "What are you doing? It's a complete shift in your body." And so she could sense it because she was a muscle therapist. So we experienced much, both of us, to understand even a bigger picture. So, and I think that was fascinating. I never told her that I started with yoga, but she felt that I had kind of jumped to another level just by doing yoga by myself, saying yes
Wow.
to me, like you
Yes.
do with the chant. So it is so many ways
Yeah.
to just taking our power back.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that was the thing. I used to do a lot of yoga. I used to do Bikram yoga because I like the heat. I like the heat part of yoga, but it took up a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so I know that you can do, and that's one of my, goals is to either do some tai Chi or Pilates or yoga because I've been working a lot on the mental and I want to actually get some of the benefits of the strong physical as well. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and I also sometimes I don't have time for yoga. But what I do every day, I do just 5 minute yoga. And even just 5 minute yoga, it makes a big difference because I do 5 minutes breath of fire, like
Mhm.
holding my hands up and really pumping. And this, I'm so fascinated. Only this 5 minute, what does this do to my body? It is so amazing.
Yeah.
So because we think we have to do it, or we have to do it at least 30 minutes or an hour, but of course it's more beneficial to do it an hour. But sometimes I just do 5 minutes, and it's like wow. So it is
Yeah.
kind of standing up for our own voice, our own essence, to taking care of this.
Yeah, I agree. It's also nice to do something just for yourself if you're a mom or working, you have to do a lot for others. It's nice to just look in and be like, oh, a little present to myself.
Yeah,
Little present, a little current present to my future self, actually, is what it is.
yeah, it is. So yeah, starting this journey. So what I see that a lot of people in this mind, well, the course we are taking together, most of the people are in the hero's journey, like all of us are. But when I talk about it, I mean that we have faced, we want something different. We want to step up kind of more, because we are kind of invisible, we hide. And we actually, before we started recording, so many people, more than 90%, is kind of, we don't want to be behind camera if we are 30 or older, not the young kids that are kind of raised.
Sure. I know.
But it's like, oh, being on camera, oh, it's like being on stage.
Yes, I completely agree. It's at that, I mean, that's hard to like break through.
Yeah.
But it's like anything else, the more you do it, I think the easier it gets. I think also particularly for women who are judged by youth and beauty as in culture,
Yeah.
it um, is even harder,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Yeah,
So,
and I don't have this issue anymore because I started in 2014 being behind a camera, but
yeah.
I did it because I want to use the English language even more, because this is my kind of, oh, I don't have the vocabulary. And I know still, even though I do Divine Design podcast, I feel okay, I wanted to find a word, but I don't find it. But I try to find other words to kind of go where I'm thinking about. But I'm also, when I guide other, being a therapist and coach, I said jump before you are ready. So that's why I have jumped before I'm ready. I'm not perfect. I know that my vocabulary and my English isn't perfect. I don't have all the language. So I just, all for all listeners, jump before you are ready.
I also think oddly right now, I know there's this trend, right, to having things be imperfect because AI can make things look too perfect. So for all, I think people struggling for whatever reason, whether that they are multilingual and are just searching for words, or whether they might stutter or whatever it is. It's those imperfections that actually I think make people feel more comfortable and make it, oh, this is definitely a human. This is
Yeah.
definitely human and it's authentic and I like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. That was good to hear. I haven't thought, so I will change my perspective.
yeah, I mean, now you don't have to pretend to have flaws or, to pretend to, not that it's a flaw, but pretend to have a searching for words. It's actually real. So there will be people who are going to pretend not to be so perfect. So
Yeah, and this is also like how to live with open heart, radically open heart. Because what I said to you, what should we talk about? How do we do it? You asked me, and I said, well, we just open and have a good intention, helping people, and we just talk about what's coming through our heart. So I never have a script. So it's like, and sometimes after I said, oh, I said that, why did I did that, but it came true. So I trust the wording, I trust the process.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that that's a shift, right? I mean, that it's been about goal oriented. So basically what I was asking you is what is the goal? And you're like, to go back to the hero's journey, you're like, I don't know what the goal is. We're going on a journey
Yeah.
and that's the goal. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay. That's just not, it's not how it's been.
No.
It's been
No.
like, what's the goal? We have limited time. What's the goal? Right.
Yeah, and when I had a regression journey myself in January 2015, I met Divine Design. And I didn't know that this would be a podcast, of course not. But I met Divine Design, and it was like being God. It was the essence of us, the light. And I thought, wow, it was so radically open that I said, no, 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 that I cannot relate to that. So I actually closed down. I remember I said to the hypnotherapist, being in hypnotherapy, and it said, no, 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 this is too crazy. And this, if I am what I experienced, I am divine design, because I see all of us having a divine design, the essence of us. I said, then all my life has been kind of a lie. I cannot be that bright. So I'm glad that I had that experience, because when our opening start, it can be so radical and so extreme, and someone gets psychosis or other symptoms, and it can actually be hard on the body, to put it like that, because you also need to embody it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I also think there's like mine has been more maybe like this. Like it sounds really good. It seems like it's going well. Oh, I'm having a bad day. Oh, okay, okay. And then like over time it goes up, right?
Yeah.
Not like that, but kind of more, okay, I mean, I had this at first because I was like, oh, this is better. This, and then all I was looking for was like, this is better. And then it kept getting, but on a day-to-day basis, right? Kind of like parenthood, where it's like, what do they say? The days are long, but the years are short. Sort of. It's how it feels like kind of long journey days, but then over time, yeah.
Yeah, and actually being a mother, that is a spiritual journey in itself, because we get kids and we think, oh, having kids, it will be like a certain way. But then they come with their essence and with their agenda, and it's not the way we have I can speak for myself. It's like all of them really have, yeah, radically kind of shaped me big time.
Yes. I mean, it's much harder than you think it's going to be, but it's also much more deep than you can imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, it is very deep, and a lot of people, yeah, it's easy to be in meditation and be in lotus and doing all the good things, but be with your family, a big family, for a week or two. Just then all this stuff comes up.
I know. Sort of like sometimes, before a large, family gathering, I'm like, oh, I'm in such a good place.
Yeah.
Okay, take a deep breath. It's gonna bring up all this stuff, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I haven't told you, I said I have reflected the last year, because I still talk about me having 5 adult children, but actually the oldest died in 2015. He was 22, but I still said that I have 5 children, because it's wrong for me to put it like I just have 4. I don't want to forget him. So I say still, even though he is dead. So people ask me how many kids you have. I say I have 5, and it's not always that I say it, but one of them isn't living anymore. So I just say 5. But where was I going with this?
Well, I mean, I think it gets into kind of the spirituality part, like, because I've thought about, I only have one, but I guess if it sort of goes to like, what do you believe about spirituality? It's like, if you believe that maybe in reincarnation or that then it's not that they're just not here with you right now, but doesn't mean that they're not existing somewhere. Or that if they're not here, that they weren't here and that, you know, that that's such a finite thing anyway.
Yeah, and actually I don't hold back anymore because my son is reborn. So I he was actually the biggest help when he passed over, and I spoke a lot to him, and in my desperation in January, half year after, he commit suicide, and half year after, in my desperation, being in grief, I said, please come in a physical body. I know this is so supporting having this conversation, but I need you in physical body. I was crying, and it was not it was an ugly cry, and I didn't get any answer. But I think it was a month or 3 weeks or 4 weeks afterwards, when I was in a good place, he kept, I will come in a physical body. And I was hoping that he would come as my grandchild, but he had his own agenda. So he has incarnated, I know the family, he told, now I will incarnate in this family. So I have spoken with his new biological mother, and he went with another soul, and then the father of his new biological mother commit suicide, and they resonate in the same frequency. So they went together in this body because being this family, they have a lot of ancestral stuff.
Yeah.
All of us have ancestral stuff. So this was his agenda. So even though I wanted him to be my grandchild, it's like I will meet him, and I tried to meet him in physical form, but I was stopped because he don't live with his biological mom, because she have so much trauma. So this boy is moved to another family. So I know that I will meet him when he is in the beginning of his teenager. And I was, for a couple of years ago, it was like I could have forced myself taking a plane and really meeting, but then I will have the police on. So it's like I went into it kind of checking out what would happen. And it's like, no, this is not the way it's supposed to be. So just to respect the divine timing. The divine timing was that I will meet him when he is teenager. But so I have learned so much through him. We have had a lot of life. He have been my father. He have been my brother. So we are souls that have incarnated so many lives together. But I have never have him kind of with my mother or child, and then died, and then knowing, or maybe that has happened, but I didn't know it. So now I know his I know I know his name, I know his birthday, I know where he live and all this. So when I meet him, I will learn even more. So this is fascinating. I have learned so much from my kids, and now that he commit suicide and was the biggest comfort, and I will meet him in physical form again. And I think this is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible that you know where he is and that you get to meet him when the time is right. And I think given your knowledge and practice, you'll let the time be right, rather, like you said, than like forcing something. And wow, also with your daughter's own journey, you came, to this time with such knowledge to help not only others, but within your own family. It's very special.
Yes, because he helped me open. So my son helped me to open, because it was 2 years before that the doctor said that I will die, and I prepared to die. And then it was open, listening to all the kind of downloads and all the information. And also in the same period, we had the mafia because I work with criminals and we had the mafia. So it was kind of very extreme. So they
Wow.
pushed me to my limits. It's kind of, and after 2 years having the mafia pressuring us, and then Alexander commit suicide. So and then started they did it one more year, and then so it was for 3 years, and it was crazy. It's like I didn't believe that living in Norway can give such crazy surroundings, because I didn't think that mafia was in Norway when this happened.
Right.
I was so naive that I thought that that's only in United States. No.
I mean, I was thinking, I guess that you get to experience a lot there because, I mean, I live in New York City, so I get to experience a lot. But in Norway, because you have fewer people, so you must see a lot more of everyone's journeys because there's just fewer people and you're in contact regularly with perhaps more people. Here, there's so many people, so you can experience a lot, but you can also experience a little if that's what you want,
Yep.
or if that's where you sort of end up. It's very different in a lot of different places in the U.S. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. But when, because mafia, they really got the deepest fear in me, because they blackmailed us and they pushed us, and so they actually helped me to transform. I didn't see it like that because I hated them. I banned them, and they were ruining my life. They were ruining our family as I saw it. But actually, I remember when I went into the anger, and I felt everything that I didn't want to feel. It was kind of the last thing that I said, no, never, because I had a very angry father and I didn't want to. I promised myself as young, I will never be like my father.
Hmm.
But I needed to radically accept that I also have that in me.
Right.
So for 3 days, when I went through this, then I met such a much love. It was I was almost heaven on earth, and then they stopped. So it's kind that can be true, because it was like, can the surroundings be so? It's like a setup, because they stopped when I did this tree. After that, they stopped. It was like, was this what life tried to show me, that
Hmm.
this is a setup, kind of or everything is an illusion? Because we know that everything is an illusion, and when we go into the hero's journey and the spiritual, it comes physical. So the spiritual becomes physical because I banned them and I hated them and I got all my anger out to them. At the same time, they actually helped me so that I met them with love. After that, I said, I will meet the mafia with love, because I wanted to. Yeah, they
Hmm.
got the worst out of me, but I changed.
well, I mean, you came through something, and so you didn't get stuck. So that is, what it was for, obviously. That's why it
Yeah.
was there for.
So I think it, even me thinking that, being naive, kind of open-hearted, believing that no mafia don't is in Norway, but you being in New York and all where we are, what I have learned is that our surrounding will mirror what we need. And you traveling to Germany and you wanted to go to Europe and experience, so you felt your heart. I'm sure you felt your heart. You were supposed to go there.
Yeah, I like when we were talking earlier, I've been in touch with like what my heart, I haven't always been able to, be successful at it, but I've known often what it wants. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So if we dare to follow our heart, even though, because I followed my heart and it was pain. The 3 years when the mafia was, and I was guided all the time, and having my son also the last year guiding me, but it they actually pushed me so hard that the only thing that I trusted was the guiding. It was the only correct thing that happened in my life. So they actually pushed me into my light, into my strength. So the worst
Yeah.
that is can be the best, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's what, where our stories perhaps match, right? Is like my worst kind of journey coming through um pushed me into this, having a really wonderful practice and meeting a lot of new people. and having a much more fulfilling, like, mental and spiritual peace
Yeah,
than I had prior and that I had had for a long time.
yeah.
So,
Hmm. And since we talked about Mind Valley, one of the things that they have, I don't know if you have gone into the Silva Ultramind program, the Silva book.
now I did Be Extraordinary, which I liked very much, and that was one of my next ones, was the Silva. Have you done that?
Yeah, I actually did it. I think it was 2002 or
Oh,
2003.
wow.
It was in Tromsø, Norway, and it was a course, and then we, uh, yeah, I went into a body opening a heart. I didn't know that I could do it, so I experienced a lot of this is crazy. So I actually had done it. And Vision do it his way. They also use this activating the theta. So, and also when I go into ceremony, I use the same because then we travel very easy. So I have
Are you putting something on someone's head or
no
like electric?
headphone. It's like yeah, headphone.
Oh, okay. So you're putting headphones and then okay. I
Yeah,
thought maybe, like Musk's, is it Musk or whoever has the Neuralink company? I thought maybe you were like putting electrodes, like if you've ever had which I
no, no,
have,
no.
had like a brain, ECG or something where they put things. No, you're just doing headphones. Got it.
I can't. My grandfather, he was kind of in hypnosis all his life. He was an amazing man. He had a boat. He was a boatman, fishing a lot, and it was the old boat. It's like so. This is what also Vision use. So if it's faster or being in this activates the brain. So you kind of raise your
Yeah.
frequency and you kind of are in theta, and then this is download. So this
This
has
is what? I didn't understand the last word.
download. It is you have download. You are
Download.
in alignment with your soul, with your
Yeah.
so it's kind of you know what to do. It is the opening for the heart. It is the opening for the so it is the opening. So doing ceremony now I have started to train myself more and more with sound and also closing my eyes. And we can also use smell. So we can use all the
Sure.
senses to help us to raise and to travel and to download. And that's a muscle like everything else. So this is one part of the hero's journey. That happened. I was pushed into it to listen, to download, because that
Sure.
was the only true thing that was in my life. Well, all the old fell down. The old didn't function anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what is pretty incredible. Like I have this amazing eye doctor here in New York, and he can look at your eyes and he can see how the blood vessels and where they're strong, and he can tell you all these things about you because he understands how you're processing information, right? And so it's not a surprise, like, I'm in music, my family's in the music business, my brother's an established musician, because you have this genetic predisposition of how you're going to process your information. So different people will respond to something visually or audio or whatever.
Yep.
Music moves certain people, and for other people, they just don't get it because that's how they come. It's not their gateway, as you were saying. So I think what's interesting, right, is that everyone should find their own, and
Yep.
then if they do, they'll find their way um, to, at the very least, feeling better, and at the most, feeling really connected to God or spirituality or whatever works for them.
Yeah. I don't know if you talk about aerology, like reading the eye. Aerology.
I mean, it's probably like that, but this is like from a doctor. He'll see your deep images of your eyes, not
Yeah.
looking at you, but he sees the blood vessels.
Yeah.
And, so it's probably very like aerology, but a little bit different, but yeah, similar.
When I went to a counselor, he read my pupil and all how the constellation was in, and he said, and from just reading my eyes, he could tell all about my health, and I knew it, and it's like I was so what just by looking in because I know that I have all my life just I watch people straight in the eye. I just do it. I don't know why I do it, but it's like connecting to their soul, to their essence. But I didn't know that we actually could read everything from the iris, but we can.
Yeah, no, and this is similar, but it's looking at how the blood vessels go into your eyes so they can see even more potentially, because they're doing it from, I think, a medical perspective, not as much of a spiritual, perspective. More Western medicine, but the result is the same,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah,
So to
because
have someone that could do both would be awesome.
yes, yeah, exactly, because he actually could see the spiritual, and he said, "I know where you are, your weakest spot," and I was amazed that just by when you know how the constellation in your eyes, and some people for all their life they will struggle with health because just the constellation they can see in your eyes because they know how the body function. And like he said, you have a very strong constellation, so you can drink a lot of alcohol, you can smoke, and your body won't, because you have such a strong constellation. And I said, wow, I know that, but you saying it. And he said, but here is your weakest, and the weakest was the same as my father, my grandfather, so it was the ancestral stuff that was the weakest. So of course we have our ancestral stuff, and but we can do something with it. Me going through DNA detox, I have done something with the ancestral stuff. So but it's fascinating that we can read from our hand, we can read from the ear, the eyes. So yeah, it is fascinating.
Yeah, I think now we're going to have a lot more time on our hands because AI is taking a
Work.
lot of tasks up. But that's the difference, right? It's the difference between intelligence and wisdom. Wisdom
Yeah.
is something that is uniquely human, but you have to seek it. If you seek to just scroll on social media and not attain wisdom, that's not going to be a very good use of the time we are going to get back. But should humans decide that they want to attain wisdom, I think there are lots of, businesses and lots of opportunities, to explore all those things that you just said, and
Yeah.
find what works for you, but also just learn a lot about you and a lot about spirituality and a lot about us as a collective,
Yeah.
kind of humans.
But on a collective level, humans have already said yes to it. So we are already in it. So we see that as we started to talk about, so many people is kind of opening for the spiritual understanding. So on a collective level, humans have already said we are ready to rise, to live in a different way.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people, but I don't think like governments are working that way. And I don't
No,
know
but
in
they
certain,
will. But they will.
yes, but I think that's going to be a long journey. But I think it feels like there's a lot of people in the US that are into it, but it doesn't feel like us as an entire culture are quite there yet. So
Yeah,
lots of work still to do there, but
but
I
I
think
have
we'll have the time.
I have seen from the Nordic country, when we are in 2033, we have already implemented a lot of the new systems. So I know that the Nordic country will be ahead of time, and a lot of other will copy. So what we do,
Yeah,
I
I
chose
agree.
Norway for a reason. So it is one of the reasons, because I'm doing I'm making some of the new systems. So,
Mhm.
and it, since we are so small country, we it is easier for the Nordic country to do it. But we need to go together also,
Sure.
because we need our
Course.
neighbors, and even though we have different language, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Greenland, all of this, we will be kind of a union, and when we have
Yes.
implemented it, we will kind of be a role model. Not that we are better, but it is easier
No, it's
because
just here to start one
yep,
smaller place, and I
yep,
think other bigger countries are good at copying. So
yep,
when they see something works, they like to copy it, which is so a smart
yep,
thing to do.
yep.
So yeah.
So all the crazy thing that we see is actually good. Like I said with the mafia, it was the worst that I didn't want. But so what I have been shown that what I experienced from 2013 to 2016, I didn't want it because it ruined my life. A lot of people are experience similar thing. They feel like their life is ruined, but actually this is the transformation.
Yeah.
So we are all kind of in the hero's journey, pushed to the thing we don't want and what we condemn. And he said, no, 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 no. I'm not one of them. So we are all in it this together.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Wow, I loved how this conversation flow. What are you
Me too.
feeling now when you go
No,
into the end?
it was really good. It went like a lot of it went a lot of different places, but yet it stayed on theme. So I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I really enjoyed talking to you and meeting you and we'll get to see each other more because we're now in this class for 5 months.
For 5 months, yes. And thank you so much for saying yes and being willing to do this.
Wow. I think that's part of it is like you need to say yes to more things.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
If this conversation resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share this with whoever you feel that needs to hear it. Together, your support helps us sustain this work, bringing transformational wisdom into the world and nurturing the awakening of our shared foundation, Mother Earth. Thank you for listening to the Divine Design podcast with Ann-Peggy Divine. Join us next Sunday for another Heaven on Earth unfolding conversation. With grace, reverence, and unity, may the path of your divine design light the way. From the divine in us to the divine in you.